welcome back to Active Fitness. So today we're just going to take a look of a YouTuber Mrwhosetheboss, his fitness transformation video. So this is basically a video of how he has transformed his body over 100 days, and I'm just going to say what I think he could have done differently or better, and well, I'm just going to be a critic to sum it up. So let's get started.
100 days ago, I challenged myself to a fitness transformation. This was me. Every day I was sleeping just 4 hours a night, walking an average of just 2,000 steps, drinking 4 cups of caffeinated tea, scoffing food at every possible opportunity, and just generally feeling like a sack of potatoes. So, I committed to making 10 key lifestyle changes to see if I could turn this all around. 100 days is up. This is what's happened. The first 5 days were horrible. I dropped immediately from 3 to 4 cups of tea and coffee a day to 0. And while I did think this would be challenging, I had no idea that I'd be practically unable to function without it.
My eyes hurt, my forehead hurts, my whole face hurts.
And what made this slightly harder was the
Okay, so something to say about that is if you're used to something like coffee or caffeinated tea, you actually want to stick to it to a certain extent. You slowly want to decrease the amount that you're taking in. And you don't want to just cut it all the way out. I would recommend that you rather take a look of how much coffee you drink during the day and just decrease it slowly. And yeah, you can do as he did, but well, the experience isn't going to be pleasant. But yeah, let's continue with the video.
fact that at the same time, my gym regimen had just tripled in intensity. More on that in a minute. I was running at every possible opportunity, literally until I could not take another step. Plus, I was making myself do 25 minutes of fast walking at an incline every evening on top of that. Not easy when you're struggling to make it to the evening.
It's literally like 6 p.m.
Okay, so about the exercise, yeah, I maybe should, if you guys want me to, I can take a deeper look in and see what kind of exercises he did. As for the running, until you can't run anymore and running at any given moment, I won't recommend that. And the walking at night, yeah, might be good for recovery. But what I would say is rather, once again, take it step by step. Don't go full out and try to do 6 or 7 sessions a week of exercise. Rather just start with 2 or 3, get into that routine because, well, let's be honest, you actually want to build a healthy routine. And yeah, if you just suddenly go all in, it becomes really hard to maintain it and nearly impossible to do it. So I would, for any beginner, I would recommend just go 2 to 3 times a week and just do 1 change per week to your lifestyle. Maybe 2 or 3, but yeah, you don't want to go all in. If you understand what I mean. Be 100% committed to the change, but don't change 100% in one day. But let's continue with the video.
Yeah, I'm dead.
But then on day 6, something happened.
I'm just getting ready to film our best smartphone of the year so far video. And I actually feel okay. I feel awake. I feel ready. I feel like I might not even need a tea.
It felt wrong. Why do I suddenly feel like I can film this video without my caffeine? Of course, the answer is that the previous 5 days without it meant that I was getting tired during the day, sleeping at a decent time, and actually getting better quality sleep because of it. It had just taken my body 5 days to readjust to functioning without that caffeine stimulation. I have had tea since then, but I've never had more than 1 in a day, and it immediately switched from feeling like something I needed to just a bonus. And while I was on this high, I also thought, it's been a week, let's do a progress check. I couldn't believe it. Turns out that within just 7 days, I'd managed to bring that average sleep time all the way up from 4 hours to almost 7. The scales were saying 83.8 kilos and 20.3% fat. I was on top of the moon. Over the next couple of weeks, as well as all the other stuff, I started to properly turn my attention to the art of meditation. From everything I'd heard about meditating, I knew that this was going to be the key to reducing my overall stress levels. And it seems so simple. You just sit there for a few minutes a day. But my gosh, has this fitness transformation revealed stuff about me. I couldn't do it. I was trying to use the Headspace app for this, and it starts you off with 3-minute meditation sessions where there's a narrator who guides you through what to think about. Things like focus on the sounds around you and notice the way your body is feeling right now. Sadly, the only thing I could notice was just how painstakingly long 3 minutes felt when you're doing absolutely nothing. I wanted to fidget, I wanted to move, I wanted to get on with 100 tasks that I told myself I was going to do that day. Not to mention that I'm allergic to like 15 different airborne particles, so any moments of serenity I did manage to get only drew my attention to how blocked my nose was. But I kept trying. Every single day, whether I was tired, whether I was at a party, whether I was in another country, I would find some time to sit and meditate. And then one day,
I think I finally get meditation. It kind of feels like I've just got up from a deep sleep.
nope, false alarm. That wasn't it. But then,
I feel like I've just broken through the meditation barrier for the first time. Done the meditation, and I feel great.
yeah, that wasn't it either. It was only when I really understood what the goal of this meditation was that I was able to start to get there. It's not really about sitting half naked on a mountain and waiting for enlightenment like you see in the movies. The key thing that I was trying to get from it was a sense of mindfulness. Of being able to notice an emotion or a feeling in my body, and then instead of reacting to it or stressing about it, just seeing it for what it is. And as soon as I got that, I realized I don't even need the app. I was meditating in the train station, I was meditating while working, I was meditating while getting my hair cut, and it really does work. I also thought it was time to check my progress 20 days in. I didn't feel like I looked significantly better, but the moment I'd taken this photo and put it side by side with the first one, I was shocked. You could see it on my belly, you could see it on my sides, you can see it on my face, and my weight was down yet again. No doubt helped by the healthier sleep habits, lower stress levels, and the fact that I was slowly but surely dialing up the speed of my evening walks on this fitness transformation. How many times have I said that phrase? So I'm on like a...
Okay, so the thing of him showing every week and so on is as far as transforming. It is something that happens. You can get results within a week, especially if you are a beginner. That's why we have something called newbie gains. But as the journey progresses and so on, and it becomes more harder to get results. So, for example, when your body has about 24% fat, losing about 1 or 2% of that is going to be a lot more easier, and you can maybe even lose, well, something like 4% within the first month or two. Also said you actually just want to take it once again step by step, but yeah, as you get more closer to your goals, you will notice that it becomes a lot more harder. And that's what I would say for any person that's starting. Just remember, at the beginning, you are going to see results. But towards the end of the year, it's going to become harder to get the results. You're going to start hitting your plateau. So just always take that into consideration. And once again, let's continue with the video.
Fitness transformation right now. I want to get into the best shape of my life by August 31st. You might know that I'm partway through a fitness transformation right now. I'll say that's like at least 10, 12 kilos.
Fitness transformation.
I'm on a health transformation. Too many. But the other side to this coin is the eating. At the point where I decided to make this change, I was eating horribly. Eating junk food had essentially become my way of pushing myself to work harder. I'd created an emotional connection between feeling overwhelmed and then using cakes and chocolates as the incentive to work my way out of it. The meditation was already helping to combat that feeling of being stressed out so regularly, but it's only when I compounded that with actually good food that's when things really started making a turn. My strategy was effectively just to plate myself the original meal that I would have normally had, but then just shift the proportions away from the chips and the rice, more towards the veg and the protein. And I would strongly recommend that for anyone else trying to make this kind of change, because it almost doesn't feel like you're missing out on anything. I mean, sure, I still crave chocolate, I'm human, but Then I substituted that for these mini, dark, somewhat healthy little chocolate bars that I could treat myself to. And yeah, I did still crave the odd fizzy drink, but the best thing I did was to not deprive myself of that. I just substituted my Fanta for soda water mixed with some fresh orange juice. I know it sounds strange, but it hit the spot. This challenge really forced me to get creative with my recipes. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen my various attempts at smoothies. I remember one quite distinctly, which involved a few too many rocket leaves. Or there was another day where I was really craving pancakes. Obviously, I couldn't make myself the full-fat version, but that allowed me to figure out a recipe that was pretty lean, very quick, and really tasty when served with some blueberries and a bit of honey. The further I got into this challenge, though, the more it started to dawn on me that when it comes to all
So, as for the nutrition part, yeah, that's not my area of expertise. And also, once again, take it step by step. But here, I would say you actually done a good job. According to my knowledge, he took it, well, he didn't make all the way going to just salad and chicken breast and so on. Yeah, actually changed portions, changed a little bit of the options, made sure that between the two options that he had, that he picked a more healthier version. Like you can see, he said with the pancakes, he didn't go for the, well, let's call it 100% unhealthy option. He went more for the healthier option. And small changes like that contribute a lot actually in the long run, and it can help you actually a lot out. And also what he says, he didn't deny himself the craving, he just substituted for with something else. I actually agree with that. That's actually a healthy way to do it, because we all have a craving for anything sweet every now and then, and yeah, so we might as well just keep it all within, how can I put it, you know, not too little or too much, just keep it exactly between the two extremes. You know, just maintain balance. And that's actually what fitness and the healthy lifestyle is actually all about, is to maintain a balance. But let's continue with the video.
this health stuff, you can't control everything. Sometimes a friend will host a meal out. Sometimes you do have to take a work trip away. Like I went to America for 9 days to film that video with Mr. Beast. Do I regret it? Not one bit. But was it practically impossible to completely stick to my plan while being A, jet-lagged, B, traveling sat down for long periods of time, C, working really long hours, and D, in a foreign country surrounded by restaurants and nowhere to cook my own food? Yes. Yes, it was. But I think what helped me to get through times like that was partly just being as healthy as I reasonably could. Like instead of getting the full-fat, onion ring, deep-fried burger, opting for the rice dish. And then instead of having all the pies on the airplane, just having one, and then asking for fruit. And it was partly just switching my point of comparison, away from the super militant level of control that I was able to have while at home, and more towards just comparing myself to how unhealthy old me would have been in that same scenario. It's the best I could do. And thankfully, about 50 days in, halfway through the time I'd given myself, it seemed to have paid off big time. By this point, I could actually feel like I was in better shape. I felt lighter, I felt more agile, not to mention that my weight was now sitting at 81 kilos, which isn't even close to actually factoring in the full difference because as well as losing the fat, I was putting on muscle at the same time. So even with all these minor stumbles I had with my diet, I think the fact that I wasn't too hard on myself when I had to be a bit unhealthy meant that I never felt like it was all over or what's the point anymore, which allowed me to just dive back into being more healthy as soon as those opportunities presented themselves. Whenever I have a problem, I love the idea of a multi-pronged attack. So like, if I have a sore throat, I will make myself one drink that contains 7 different ingredients that are all supposedly good for your throat. It's satisfying to me knowing that there are multiple mechanisms all fighting to help you at once. And this ideology is also what I've applied to this transformation. Because it's not just the eating well and the intense workouts and the meditation, it's also all the standing I've been doing. 3 months ago, I got myself this standing desk, and I spent an average of 4 hours per day working from it. I could not recommend it more. Because it's not just that you stand and you keep your core active, but you also find that you move your legs more, your arms more, and you're just generally active for 4 more hours a day, which is enormous. And this board that I've been using, it kind of reminds me of when I was a kid and I got my first play on one of those spinny office chairs. it just makes it more fun. And then every now and again, I've been swapping it out for this vibration plate, which basically exercises my body for me. Let's not talk about the amount of drinks I've spilled while working from it. Working at a standing desk is one of those things that's a very noticeable change when you start doing it. But then after a week or so, you kind of forget. And you're only reminded at the end of each day when you eventually sit back down and kind of feel like you've already done your workout. Not everything I tried was super effective.
Okay, so the standing desk, I think it's a great idea. The balance board, okay, I'm not exactly sure if that's 100% balance board, but yeah, also a great idea. The power board thingamajig that works on electricity, I'm not going to agree with that. That's, well, yes, well, I have a different opinion about it. See, whenever something performs, well, let's call it exercise for you or a motion for you, you're not actually contracting your muscles. And from there, can you actually say that you're actually performing exercise as good as someone waving your arms around for you? You're not commanding your body to do any motion. So I would actually say that it's not worth the money. Just skip it and buy yourself rather the balance board and save yourself the money and also all of the drinks that you would have spilled. So yeah, just stick to the other one. And so the argument for that is, like I've said, it's as good as someone else is, well, let's go with this one. As good as someone swinging your arms around for you. Can you actually say that you're exercising them? No. So yeah, I'm just gonna say, skip it and stick to the balance board. And let's continue with the video.
Effective. Like, one thing I used was the Slender Tone belt that shocks your abs into contracting many times very quickly. I remember starting by thinking, oh, this tickles. Until I realized that the setting was on 10 out of 100. By about 40 it was painful, and at 100, well, this should give you an idea of how it felt. Okay, to be fair, I was actually okay with the pain part of it. The reason I decided to ditch this belt was more that it wasn't really designed to help you lose weight, more to tone your abs. But since I still had a layer of fat over my abs, you wouldn't have been able to tell anyways. Or another thing, one of my other resolutions was to install a water reminder app on my phone that pings me every 2 hours to make sure I drink. I thought this was genius. I thought this was gonna solve my hydration problems forever.
Okay, so for these apps that remind you to drink water or anything like it, good idea, but in reality, it doesn't work like that. I would rather recommend just keep a bottle of water close by, and yeah, now to automatically you'll start picking up to every now and then just take a sip of water subconsciously. The thing is, why I would say that using these kinds of apps doesn't work is, yeah, I know from my experience that I've certain WhatsApp groups that I ignore. So my argument is, if we can ignore those groups and those WhatsApp messages, then technically I can probably ignore an app after a while. If it pings me every 2 hours to go drink water, I'll probably ignore it. Yeah, I just realized I shouldn't have said that loud on YouTube. Now everyone's probably gonna know that I ignore the groups. Yeah, but let's continue with the video and hope that I don't get into too much trouble.
And to be fair, it did give me a nudge at the beginning, but by the time we're approaching week 10, the regularity of it almost made me start to just tune out the notification. That said, the biggest thing that was actually a game changer was just making sure that I always had a full bottle on the desk with me. It is crazy the difference in the amount of water I drink when the tap is 10 steps away from me versus how much I drink when it's 0 steps away. It's the difference between only drinking when you feel thirsty, which usually means that you don't have enough water, and actually being hydrated, which I think I've only properly been for the first time in my life this last few weeks. And it's made me feel less hungry and even more awake. It was at around day 75, 3/4 through the challenge, where I actually started to notice that I was also getting much stronger. The way that I was using progressive overload to go up just a little bit in weight or reps each workout meant that by this point, having had so many workouts, I was lifting about 80% more than when I started. Literally, the kinds of weights that I was struggling to lift at the beginning, I was now using for my cooldown sets, which is such a crazy thing for me to wrap my head around. Not to mention that while at the start I was planking for about a minute ago, by
New beginnings. I'm just saying it. It's new beginnings.
this point I was becoming able to do 3-minute planks. And as well as my main workouts getting more intense as we went, so were my evening walks. I realize how that sounds. I'm not actually joking. The way it started was that every evening before I went to bed, I would walk at a speed of 5 kilometers an hour at an incline of 5 degrees for 25 minutes. But by the end, it was 6 kilometers an hour at an incline of 7 degrees, and I was going for 30 minutes. Which might sound like small changes, but when added together, I was burning twice as many calories per evening doing this, almost 300 per walk. And this much time spent on a treadmill also pushed me to find ways of just enjoying it. I realized that with my Nintendo Switch, I could have the tablet section resting on the machine itself, and then just detach the controllers and play my games as I was walking. It made the time fly by. By the time we got to day 85, my sleep was drastically better than the 28% I was being scored when I started this change. I was now regularly hitting 70 to 80% sleep quality, which was already a vast improvement. But then I found this product. It's an air filtration unit that effectively just sucks in all the allergens, the dust, and the pollen that have been restricting my breathing at night. And this one change has now pushed me closer to the 90s in sleep quality. I've literally gone from insomnia levels of sleep to 90%. That is one of the best feelings in the world. And that leads us to the results. This is me now. I've never felt this self-assured and confident in my entire life. And as for the stats, I'm now averaging just under 8 hours of sleep a day. My daily step count has hit 13,000. My caffeine has leveled out to about 1 cup of tea per day. And as for weight, 79 kilos with a 16.9% body fat. Sadly, there's no six-pack, but I will definitely take the fact that you can at least tell my abs exist. I hope this helps you on your fitness transformation. And to check out me testing some of the craziest fitness gadgets ever, that video's here.
Okay, I must say I really enjoyed it, and I think that it's actually a great video. And it does go through a lot of the things that will happen to you if you start changing over to a more healthier diet, and if you are in a fitness journey. If you're busy with it, or if you're just starting, I would actually say this is a great video to watch. And yeah, here and there was a few things that I disagreed with, and there was a few things that I agreed with. And yeah, also just something to quickly mention is your recovery is actually one of the most important things that you need to take into consideration when you exercise. So you don't need to do every single day something that's very active. Give yourself every now and then just a day that you have, I'll put it, low activities of being active. Don't go every single day full out, because when you the actual magic starts happening when you're recovering. That's actually when your muscles are starting to develop and getting bigger and stronger. That's why actually give your body a little bit of breathing space, let it recover. So otherwise, I would say that this is actually kind of a really helpful video for any beginner out there. Yes, there's a few things that I don't agree with, but otherwise, I would say if you're a beginner, check it out. It will give you an idea of what you are going to experience within your fitness journey. Otherwise, if you are looking for a workout program that's for free, go to activefitness.co.za. We have exercise programs that are for free, and also other exercise programs also for more advanced people. So all of our beginner workouts is 100% for free for 6 months, just to help you get started. And yeah, if you like this video, leave a like. And if you want to see future videos that is going to come out, you can follow me. And that's about it. Enjoy your day or night, depending on when you're watching this video. Cheers, guys.